Are you struggling to start your answer in IELTS speaking test? Today I'm going to give you 30 smart phrases to begin your answer, whether you're talking about past experiences, opinions, preferences, or you're not sure about the answer. Let's dive right in. Number one is when you're talking about your opinions, when you have to give your opinions. An examiner asks you a question like, do you think social media has positive or negative effects on society? And you will reply in this way, in my opinion, social media has more positive effect because it connects people worldwide. So if you want to give your opinion, you can use these multiple phrases. Let's look into it. In my opinion, from my point of view, I personally believe that as far as I'm concerned, to me, it seems that. Number two is disagreeing politely. If examiner asks you a question, you disagree totally, how you respond. Like for example, he asks you, some people think that traditional libraries are no more necessary. Do you agree? And you can respond in this way. I see your point, but I would say libraries are still very important, especially for students who can't afford digital resources. So there are many ways you disagree politely. Look into the phrases which you can use. I see your point, but I would say I'm afraid I don't quite agree with that. That's an interesting idea, though I think I understand your perspective. However, actually, I tend to disagree because. So, these are different phrases you can use when you are disagreeing politely. Number three is talking about preferences. When examiner asks you a question like, do you prefer studying alone or in a group? And you can respond in this way. Personally, I prefer studying alone because it helps me to concentrate better. And there are some other phrases you can use to show your preferences. Look into it. I would rather, you can add something, then you can compare another thing. Personally, I prefer, if I had to choose, I would go for, given the choice, I would, for me, something is far better than another thing. So these are different ways in which you can talk about preferences. Number four is referring to past experience. Have you ever tried learning a musical instrument? And you should reply in this way. I still remember the time when I tried to learn guitar in my high school. It was really exciting but challenging at the same time. You can talk about your past experiences using all these phrases. Look into it. I once had an experience where, when I was younger, I used to, back in school days, I still remember the time when, a few years ago, I. So these are the phrases you can use referring to your past. Number five is expressing uncertainty when you are not sure about something. So the examiner asks you a question, how can education change in the next 20 years? And you can reply in this way. That's a tricky question. Let me think. I think schools rely more on virtual reality classes. And you can reply using all these phrases when you are not sure about something. Let's look into it. I'm not entirely sure, but I think that's a tricky question. Let me think. I haven't thought about it much, but maybe. It's hard to say, but possibly. Well, I guess. So you can express your uncertainty using all these phrases. Number six is talking about future plans. And if examiner asks you, what are your future plans after finishing your studies? And you can reply in this way. Looking ahead, I would like to pursue a higher studies abroad and then return to my country to work. And you can use all these phrases. Let's look into it. In the future, I am planning to, one of my ambitions is to, I hope that one day I will, looking ahead, I would like to, if everything goes well, I will. So these are different phrases you can use to talk about your future. Number 7 is making comparisons. When you have to make comparisons between two things. And if examiner asks you questions like, do you prefer living in city or countryside? Or do you like to live in city or countryside? You can respond in this way. Compared to the past, city life has become more stressful, but still it offers better opportunities than countryside. And you can use all these phrases. Compared to the past, on one hand, this, on the other hand, this. While some people prefer, I think it's quite different from in contrast. So you can use all these different phrases to answer the question. Number 8 is while you are giving examples. Like for example, examiner asks you a question, why do you think people enjoy traveling? And you can reply in this way. For instance, people travel to different places to learn more about good cultures, experiences, styles. You can use all these phrases for that. Look into it. For instance, take as an example, a good example of this is such as to illustrate this point. So you can give examples using all these phrases. Number 9 is agreeing to a point. Like for example, examiner asks you a question. Some people think that working in team is more efficient than working alone. What do you think? You can respond in this way. I completely agree because I think teamwork helps people to share ideas and uh, solve problems faster. You can respond using all these phrases. Look into it. I completely agree with that. That's absolutely true because I couldn't agree more. That's exactly how I feel. Yes, definitely. So you can use all these phrases when you are agreeing to a point. Okay. I hope you like all these 30 phrases and you are going to use it in your IELTS speaking test. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video.